Okay, so I'm going to move on to don'ts. So,
Go
for
for it.
those of you who are in communications, these are for you. This is the result of my time at Cargill and also my time working with my larger clients. These are things I see on corporate social all the time that if I ruled the world, I think should be like totally banned. So, here are my top 5 don'ts. Number 1, booth photos. Okay, this is like one of my personal pet peeves, right? If you're going to a trade show, if you're going to a conference and you have a booth, yay us, right? There are so many of these pictures that are here's an empty table with some stuff on it, right? Or here's an empty table with some stuff on it and a couple people standing behind it. Woohoo! Or even this in the bottom left corner, right? The people arranged themselves in an interesting way, but it's still a really boring photo, right? The other thing you have to remember is that if you are attempting to communicate with people attending this conference or this trade show, your post is one of like 1,800 posts that look exactly like this, right? Come visit us at booth 12. Here's our exciting table. Okay. That is when you think again about the stopping the scroll and getting people to pay attention to your post, right? This is not going to do it. Let's be honest, right? If I see a picture of an empty table, I am scrolling right by. So if you're going to do this type of post, it is much better to do something that tells me what I will get if I stop at your booth, right? So for instance, I was at a show recently. This is a capybara and it attaches to your wrist like a snap bracelet, right? I was given this at a trade show, and if I had this as swag, I would absolutely be like, stop by our booth and get your own wrist capybara, right? That is a reason to stop at somebody's booth. You know, is it something that, I might get to meet your CEO because they're going to be at the booth from noon to 2, right? Am I going to learn something? Am I going to be able to test your new product, right? Give me a reason to stop by and don't just say, here's our table, right? These are not compelling pictures. So if I think about real life examples, for instance, when I was with Cargill, Cargill launched a new product and we did it at a trade show. And, instead of just saying, come to our trade show, we said, stop by the booth, taste the thing, learn about our new solution, right? These are the types of things that you have to do to make your post stand out and not just be, here's our booth and one of like 28 posts that say the same things, right? So no booth photos unless your booth levitates or does something super cool. No booth photos. Number 2, no shovels. Groundbreaking ceremonies are necessary. We know this, right? We all love, oh, what if the photo booth is after the fact to show you were there? I mean, it's still a picture of a booth, right? Same problem. So if you want to say we were there, give me a better picture, right? Give me a picture of you doing something, right? You need to get away from here's an empty table or even here's a table with me standing in front of it, right? Just not compelling enough visually. So no shovels. Yes, we're all guilty of posting a shovel picture every now and then, but they really should be avoided as much as possible. So number 1, these photos almost always violate the get closer rule because the line of people is so long that you have to back up to a certain distance to get everybody in the frame, right? So number 1, these pictures tend to be way too far away just by the nature of what they are. And then 2, they're boring. It's people either standing with shovels and not doing anything with them, or it's people ceremoniously lifting up a shovel full of dirt and pretending that they're shoveling, right? Not very exciting. So don't do shovel pictures. Instead, if you're doing a groundbreaking, put yourself in the mind of the viewer, right? I don't care that you did the groundbreaking, probably, right? What I do care about is what's the building going to look like, right? What I do care about is what is going to be housed in the building, right? And so if you have even a rendering of the completed building, or you can say something about what's going to be happening there, or that this particular build is generating 4,000 jobs or whatever it is, right? Those are at least interesting things to throw out that add some meat to this and makes it beyond just the normal we broke ground on a thing post, right? You really, really want to make sure that whatever you post with your groundbreaking is visually compelling, so no shovels, and says something more. So it's the same as the trade shows, right? Don't tell me you're there. Tell me what you're doing. Tell me what I could learn. With shovels, don't just post the shovel picture. Tell me what it is. Tell me why I care, right? You have to really drive the point home for folks because they aren't going to get it. So instead of shovel photos, you could do like a rendering of what the completed building is going to look like. You could do like if there's heavy equipment on site, even a picture of like a bulldozer doing something is more compelling than a line of guys with a shovel, right? So no shovels, please. Okay, number 3, no big checks. Oh my God, the big checks. These drive me crazy. And I feel like companies like to post pictures of the big checks because they're so darn expensive to print. Like, I had no idea how expensive these huge checks are, but they're really expensive. So I kind of feel like people feel like they have to post pictures of them to justify the spend. But, you know, again, let's say your organization gives money to the Boys and Girls Club. That's wonderful, right? But what image is going to be more visually interesting to people? 2 guys holding a big check up, or a picture of the boys and girls who are actually going to benefit from the donation, right? So if I'm that person, I'm going to ask, or if I'm that social media manager, right, I want to see happy boys and girls at the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm going to ask Boys and Girls Club, do you have an image that we could use instead of posting this big check, right? So normally big checks are for corporate charitable giving, right? So if you're benefiting a nonprofit, give me a picture of the nonprofit. Give me a picture of what this money's going to do, not we gave the money, right? It is less effective and also less like kind of braggadocious, right? To say, here's where this money is going and we're proud to support this group, other than, yay us, we gave some money, right? Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay. Number 4, no grip and grins. So this is a grip and grin. Or at least I call it a grip and grin. It's, here's 2 people shaking hands because they did something cool, right? The problem is that most people don't think that the thing they did was cool, right? And it just looks like, here 2 guys congratulating themselves on something. You know, not particularly impactful, right? And it also, from a messaging standpoint, is probably not what you're trying to say. So similar to the big checks, instead of telling me, here are 2 guys shaking hands because we closed a deal, tell me the impact of the deal, right? Tell me why I care, right? Tell me why this matters to me. Give me a picture that talks about why it matters to me. Give me a picture at least that shows me what this company does, right? Not 2 guys shaking hands. That is like one of the most boring pictures ever, right? So please try to avoid the grip and grins at all costs. You know, B2B companies are particularly guilty of this, right? Cargill's a massive B2B company and a family-owned company on top of that. So yeah, I mean, sometimes people go, well, here's the picture for social. And I mean, part of your job as a social media manager is to go, do we have any other pictures? I'm not sure this is the right picture, right? Yeah, replace with hugs. Even 2 people hugging would be better. Exactly, right? But you have to think just one step further. Rather than accepting the mediocre picture of the shovel or the check or the grip and grin, what would be a better visual representation of what we're trying to communicate, right? If you put your communications hat on, what message are we trying to convey? And does this picture say that, right? If you can apply that yardstick to your posts, all of these types of posts will go away, because the answer is no. This grip and grin photo does not demonstrate visually what the story is about, right? And so if you can kind of align your thinking that way, you should kind of, as a whole, start using better pictures, because these pictures just don't meet the bar, right? So no grip and grins. And then finally, big group photos. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first of all, these group photos almost always violate the get closer rule. Like, a lot of these people absolutely could have taken 2 steps forward, right? 2 people dueling with shovels would be amazing. Though, again, I'm not sure that's the message you want to send either. But back to the group photos, right? So this is so typical. I found these 5 screenshots in like 3 seconds of searching, right? these photos drive me kind of bananas, right? Number one, they tend to be from too far away. They tend to be taken at night because it's like the last thing you do, right, during the meeting or the conference. They are often blurry, like this one in the middle here, right? And the honest truth is, it just doesn't do anything for anyone except the people in the picture and maybe people who know them, who are their coworkers, right? But if you're not in this picture, why do you care at all, right? And if you're not in the picture, why do you care at all, right? So if you're going to do we had a team building meeting and all the team came in from all over the place and we built our team, right? If you want to do a post like that, that's fine. But I would much rather have pictures of people interacting, right? So that could be, we did a team building exercise and here are some pictures from that. Like one of the Cargill team building things I went to, I don't know if any of you know the marshmallow challenge thing, but it's like they give you some dry spaghetti and a couple marshmallows and you have to build the biggest tower you can out of those materials, right? That kind of thing is a great photo, right? Way better than this boring group photo. So if you're together with your team during some sort of team exercise, right? Give us pictures of you guys participating in those exercises and not just standing in a group outside a building, right? Or better yet, you can say, here's a great thing I learned and use a photo that's relevant to that, right? Now, if you're in charge of the company social and you're trying to do something that acknowledges the fact that this event happened, that's also fine. But I would much rather have a picture of two people interacting really closely, and being animated and having a photo that really visually is compelling versus something that's not, right? And so even if you have to talk people off the ledge when it comes to, no, we have to post the group photo because everyone in the group is going to care. The honest truth is nobody's going to care, right? And you probably have better pictures, right? And so if the goal, again, is to stop the scroll, if the goal is to compete with the puppies and with the McDonald's and the Apples of the world, right, you have to post the most interesting picture you can. And these are not it. So, group photos in general, they're great. Use them in your internal newsletter. Do that all on your internal channels, right? But in terms of your external facing social, these pictures do not matter to anybody who is not in the picture. And that's just the bottom line truth, right? So you got to think for social, what can we use that's better than this, right? Make sense?